Billy, first of all, the ceremony last night, you were put under a bit of pressure, but remind me what you said and how it came about. Why were you chosen in the first place?
I don't know. I was just as surprised as anyone else. But once my time came up, I was pretty nervous because I knew the boys would scrutinise everything that I did and what I would have said. But I think I dealt with it okay. And also you were there, so I had to make a wish on behalf of the team's campaign. And I kind of felt that, you know, other teams would ask for the same thing, and that's to win. I just did it in a way that kind of, well, I said it without saying it, because I didn't want to just be the same as everyone else.
Because will that wish only come true if you win the World Cup? Can you only leave, you know, remembering what you've done by winning?
Well, you could say no, but that was my thinking behind it. I think if we were to go on and win this World Cup, then you'll be linked to this group, not just the 31 players, but the whole management and everyone in it for the rest of your lives, because you did something special together. And we've only had one other team that have done that, and I've seen how they kind of, you know, interact with each other. They have that special bond now that will live with them for the rest of their lives. So that was what I was hoping for and what we're going for.
So you're using the 2003 squad, for example, as motivation this time round?
Yeah, we use everyone that have won previous World Cups, but that one's the closest one to home. And you see how they interact with each other, and you see, well, we talk to Richard Hill all the time, and how things that they wanted to happen didn't necessarily happen when they wanted it to. But for example, their games against Wales and Samoa probably didn't happen the way they planned it. But that's a World Cup, and so we're expecting a similar sort of challenge this weekend with Tonga.
Of course, the other side of 2003 is the last one, 2015.
Yeah.
Do you use that as motivation too? Do you talk in the group about it?
We have talked openly about it, and not just this week, but when we first got together for the first time as a group, had some honest conversations about what we felt happened, what we felt we did wrong, how we can learn from it. And the biggest thing that had come out from it was our relationships. Were we as close, and can we get to a position where you might not necessarily like someone, but you respect them and you get on with them? And that's something that we're constantly pushing for, because we know that if we get to that stage, we'll make a great team. But also, like you said, 2015 is not our main motivating factor. It's kind of something that we've taken a lot of learning from, and it's helped us to appreciate where we are today. And what we did last night was kind of just a reminder of how privileged we are to be in the position that we're in.
Do you feel you are a better group, a tighter group, and in a better place than you were 4 years ago, having experienced that?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes your time just isn't right. We thought it was, we wanted it to be right, but you know, there are higher powers that decided that it wasn't. It was painful to take, because we didn't go out in the quarters or semis. We went out in the group stages at a home World Cup. So you know, we got a lot of heat for it. We bounced back, and then we went through a cycle of a similar sort of feeling to 2015, but we come out the other side of it, and hopefully, you know, the results will tell in the upcoming games.
Have you rediscovered your love for rugby? Because I know there was a period in between that tournament and where we are today when you kind of fell out of love with the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it wasn't so much love. I think it was the gratefulness. I lost that. I think a lot of sports people talk about it once they retire, is the biggest thing they miss is just being in and around people. And I went through a long period where I spent a lot of time by myself, being injured. You obviously play rugby not to train, but to play. And that's something that I found really tough. But the closer I got to, obviously, my faith, the more relaxed I became about my injuries. And like I said, it's just part of the learning. I wanted to be ready for the Lions. I wanted to be ready for all the tournaments that I've missed, you know, the autumns, the Six Nations, but it just wasn't my time. So I've bided my time, and hopefully I can produce the best version of myself for this World Cup.
So that it was your faith that was the biggest strength during this period?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
And do you use that, for example, like in this tournament, when you're away from home for a long time? And does it help?
It helps a lot. I see it as in praying is like my version of meditating. Praying is like my version of people talking to psychologists. So it kind of just takes weight off my shoulders. I'm not sure who it's going to, but that's why I believe in what I believe, because there's someone there taking control of my life, and I'm just here to help the team. And if I'm the best version of myself, then hopefully that'll help the team.
On this particular tournament, the conditions obviously are very different to what you're used to playing in. Do you think you've acclimatised, and do you think you're ready for whatever this tournament can throw at you, conditions-wise?
I would have been naive if I said to you we are completely acclimatised, because even comparing this to Treviso, it's much different. The humidity kind of just doesn't allow you that little extra bit of breath. And we found that out on our first day here, so our first session of running. So I think we're getting there, and we've done a lot to combat the conditions. Like I said, Treviso with the heat and the humidity, but nothing's as well. That was the closest we could get to Japan's weather and climate, but we're in a very good place, very, very good place, and the staff and Eddie have done a great job in preparing us.
Have you had to think about different ways of playing the game, or having that up your sleeve anyway?
We've talked a lot about adaptability, and the weather comes into it, but also, you know, like I said before, if we get into a game and we're behind, how do we get ourselves out of that position? You know, all these things have been talked about. We've not come up with any contingency plans, but we've come out with plans in our heads of how to deal with them as a group, and that's probably the biggest difference. Is you rely on the strength of the group and not of yourself and the individual.
Just finally, Tonga, a great first game for you. How emotional do you think you'll find that?
I'm not sure. I got a bit emotional last night because, you know, I heard the song World in Union, and it reminded me of the World Cup that my dad played in '99, and actually supporting him against England, you know, even though they got pumped that day. But I was there supporting my dad playing for Tonga, and that was emotional. Not very, actually, because I was a kid, but I think it'll be very, very emotional because, you know, that's where my grandparents are from, that's where my parents are from, and you know, the image of their heads coming into my head just makes me kind of, well, now feel a bit, how do you say it, happy, but we'll see on Sunday.
And presumably you'll have quite a few of your extended family. We'll be hoping you don't do so well.
Yeah. No, they're pretty loyal to us, and you know, obviously they'd love for Tonga to do really well, but they'd be torn because we're playing against them.